Welcome back to the channel today, guys. This is PREPTEX. Happy 4th, happy Independence Day to you guys. Today we're going to talk about the Get Home bag. So this loadout is kind of near and dear to me because I have read the series of books called Going Home by A. American, and I'll show you real quick just so you can get a visualization. Is the book right here, Going Home by A. American, and this is a series. I think it's a 9-book series that I've read through probably 6 times now through the whole series, but I continue to read the first book over and over. And it's a story about a guy who's like 400 miles from home working, and an EMP hits and shuts down his vehicle and of course everybody's vehicle and all the electronics. Luckily, the guy was a prepper. He has a great pack in his truck that he carried with him like a go bag, and he has to make it 400 miles on foot back to his family. Now, the research that this guy, A. American, has put into this is phenomenal. I learned so many things that I didn't know from actually reading this series right here. I think that he has a lot of really great experience with gear and quality gear and how to use it and training as well. And he kind of gives some name drops like Maxpedition, Springfield XD 45 subcompact, and things like that that guys like me and you who are gear guys might know about and might really appreciate. So definitely check that book out. You can get it on Audible. I just kind of listen to it while I work every day, and it's a really phenomenal story with a lot of really good learning points. So because of this book, I sit here and I think often, how much I travel around doing different things. Even just going to work every day is about a 45-minute drive. And I know that if something went bad and I had to make it back on foot, I have to come through a very heavily populated area, and I have to get back out here towards this rural type area which we live in now. And looking at the situations that the main character in this book, Morgan, gets himself into, which are very realistic situations, it made me start kind of reconsidering and rethinking the way that I would want to pack a bag that I would have to have if that's all that I had to get home with and I was that far away. So one of the things in the book that I think that he could have benefited from that he didn't have was some type of rifle type platform. Or some kind of stable platform that he could have used with a heavier caliber bullet that might have helped him out in a couple situations. So having that thought and knowing he made it back with just like a subcompact size 45. And guys, I know that this is just a story, but like I said, if you read the book, you'll realize that it's a lot of good thinking points and the type of scenarios that he brings about. So I started thinking about the type of gun that I would want to have and how I'd want to be able to conceal it, i.e. I would love to have it be small enough to slide into my get home bag type pack. So I went ahead and put something together for this exact situation. This is my 300 Blackout 8.5-inch build, and I tried to keep it as short and compact as I possibly could, but using everything that I need. And there might be a couple things controversial that you say about this gun. For one, the light setup. This is an O light. So one thing I want to speak on first is I set this gun up to be something that's going to live in this backpack and essentially live in my truck, or it's going to be taken with me in my truck every day. So if for whatever reason something happened where my truck got broke into and the pack got taken, I wouldn't want like a Knight's Armament or a Noveske rifle or something like that in the pack. So I did build this gun out of different components that are really good quality components, just not the super expensive components that I could have used. So having said that, I went with the Loadout Valkyrie, and there's very limited space on this rail because of this permanent Picatinny here. So I wanted to have some kind of grip that I could hold on to, and this is an 85-degree grip. This is an angled foregrip, not a 90-degree grip. But I put this Loadout on top here, and it seems to serve very well for what I want it to do. It stays out of my way. I was able to get my front sight behind the light, so if my optic did go down, which is a cheap Sight Mart optic, if for whatever reason that did go down, I still have iron sights to use. But this flashlight doesn't impede my view through my optic whatsoever. I see clear through it. And honestly, like when I'm holding the gun, it makes very comfortable for my hand to fit right there, and I can just come to the side and engage that light if I need to. So again, wanting to keep it as short as possible, this might be something else you guys don't like. I just put a thread protector, and I think that it looks really awesome. It keeps everything really kind of nice and tight in, and it's probably going to breathe a heavy fireball, but I think that that's okay for the purpose of this gun, which is going to be strictly emergency type situation. So I built this off of an old receiver that I had painted, and I put all new black furniture and parts and rail, and I think that it came out really sweet, really slick looking. So if I was in that situation like him and going home, I would definitely want to have a setup like this for some of the situations that he finds himself in, because no matter how you're prepared or how much you train with a pistol, if there's multiple guys in multiple different directions that are threatening you, you're going to want to have the most firepower possible. However, you don't want to have something so big that you have to carry it outside of your pack all the time and can draw a lot of attention. So if I feel non-threatened, I can just keep my EDC pistol inside my waistband and keep this in my bag for a bad situation, and it won't throw out any real big alarms. Alright, so the handgun that I chose to go with in this loadout is the Canik Elite SC in green with a Holosun 407K red dot. See if you guys can see. So this is a very well priced, very good value pistol. I think that it performs very well. The trigger is fairly nice, although I feel like it breaks very far back, but that's really my only complaint. Other than that, this is a great little gun. It conceals nice with the short grip. With a little pinky extension, I can get almost a full grip on there. But it's still very comfortable to shoot, and it still feels like a full-size gun. That's one thing I like about this gun, is even though it is a shorter subcompact, in my hands, it still feels like I have a full-size fighting pistol. So I got Dimitri at TexasShooterSupply.com to press me out a bullseye holster. Goes inside the waistband, keeps it nice and tight. And this is the pistol I would probably have in this loadout. And again, the reason I say that is this pistol and that rifle are going to live in this bag. This is not going to be something that's going to be my everyday carry. It's not going to be something that's my full-on battle rig loadout. This is something, if I'm away from home and all I have is that bag in my truck, this is the handgun that I'm going to keep in there so I can get back home. So let's jump down real quick and I'll show you guys what I have inside the pack that I loaded out. And again, that's going to go along with the story of the book Going Home, and it's going to go along with my theory of the things that I might need to make it back home in a bad situation. Alright guys, so let's jump in here to the loadout, and I'll kind of show you how I have this packed with the theory of going home or getting back home to your family in a bad situation if you're away from the house. So first, We already talked about the rifle. This is my backpack gun, 300 Blackout. Now, the purpose of this, again, is to be able to leave it in the bag and perhaps leave it in your truck, or just something that you take with you every day and throw it. So this isn't going to be like the most high-end. I'm not going to put $600 aim point and a $400 Surefire light and all that stuff on this gun. But I want to make sure I do have everything that I need set up and ready to go to take on a bad situation and make sure that I make it home to my family. So that is the rifle. I'm sorry, the pistol. Now the handgun that I chose is the Canik Elite SC. Very clean little pistol. It has the Holosun 407K on it. Super nice little rig. And again, I didn't want something that was so expensive, because this is something that I'm going to be leaving in this bag in case I have to use it during a bad situation. So I think Canik makes really great pistols, and I think that they're priced very reasonably. So that's what I'm running. All right, jumping into the bag. So you guys have seen maybe this before. This little front pouch here comes off and kind of turns into a chest rig, and I would run it kind of like a chest rig if I needed to. So on the side pouches here, I just have a pocket knife and some hearing protection over here. Over here I have an extra tourniquet. In this front pouch here, I have a Sawyer Mini and the strap that it takes to carry this little guy. And then on the top here, I have a 30 round mag for the Canik, and I have 3 extra 300 Blackout loaded mags in the front here. Just in case, again, I get into a tight spot and need some extra firepower, some extra ammo to reload. Okay, so in this front pouch, I have a level 3 Kevlar plate, and it kind of fits real perfect in this front pouch. So if I needed to, I could turn the backpack around or wear it forward if I needed some protection. If nothing else, it'll help me from getting hit from behind. So and this side pouch over here is kind of like a utility pouch. I keep just some snips, some 550 line cord setups. I cut these in 3-foot and 6-foot sections and tie them together so I can just pull them and use them. I have a cheap headlamp just as a utility light. And on this side, I keep the Life Straw water bottle. You just fill it up and pretty much drink out of it, and it filters as you drink it. So this is a really very convenient way. You'll see one thing that's redundant in this pack is ways to carry water. I think that's one of the most important things about trying to make it home on foot or surviving in any kind of urban or rural area, is having plenty of drinkable water and plenty of ways to filter that. So in the main compartment here, again, some sort of redundancy for carrying water. This is a plastic canteen with the metal cooking cup, so we can boil water if we need to, cook food if we need to. A lot of different things you can use that for. I think it's very important to have, and it's something that I see a lot of people not carrying in their bug out or get home bags, as a way to boil water, and extra ways to filter it, like these iodine tablets, as well as the Sawyer Mini that I already have in here. Road map. If you got to get home, if you're far away from home, of course your GPS might not work, so you're going to need some way to determine your route back home, and some way also to try to avoid what we consider to be hot spots. So learn these things. Self-cleaning wipes, just for sanitation reasons. So I chose to go with these lemon pepper tuna, as well as these, I have like a box of these things, emergency food rations. Just something to give you calories. Food is very important, especially if you're gonna have to walk back home, but no doubt you can make it a lot longer than you probably think you can with very little to eat. So that was kind of not my last priority in this bag, but definitely down there on the list. I wanted to make sure I had water and security and first aid taken care of before I started considering what food I'm gonna carry. And speaking of first aid, the only thing that I will carry is Refuge Medical products. This is the Refuge Medical BearFac 3.0, and I'll put links in the description down below on the website to get this set. Also with a code, PREPTEX 10 will get you 10% off of this IFAC. Guys, with all the stuff going on in Ukraine and all of that right now, medical gear is getting really hard to come by. So get over to Refuge Medical and check out what they got. To add to that, this is also from Refuge Medical. This is their bleeding control kit. So the reason I put this kit in this bag is thinking if I did get injured on the way home, if I did have a wound that was bleeding pretty heavily, I would want to be able to treat that long term over time while I was trying to get home. And having clean bandages and clean wraps for that stuff is imperative to fight infection. I have a little full-size emergency tent. This isn't like the little blanket. This one is a pretty good size, and you can make like an entire little sleeping tent with this, or use it like an emergency blanket. Extra hat is folded up to keep sun out of my eyes in case I'm not wearing one that day. A good pair of gloves. I bought quite a few of these now. These are great little gloves from Home Depot. This is just a cheap fixed blade knife for perhaps processing food or whatever I may need it for. In the back here, I have my pack cover because rain soaks your pack and anything in it. I have some extra socks and some extra drawers. Keeping my feet and myself dry and clean is very important in a bad situation. Extra batteries and an extra solar charger for flashlights, anything like that. And then a weather layer. This is just a full rain poncho that I can use to cover myself with shelter, or just cover myself if it starts raining. And then I keep a water bladder, of course, because we want to be able to carry as much water as possible, guys. So that's the setup of the bag and the weapons that I would choose to carry if I had to get myself back home. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed this loadout. I think that it's something that we should all consider, especially if you work away from your home any distance whatsoever. If the grid goes down or anything happens to your vehicles, or the transportation is so clogged that you can't move, it's going to be very important to have everything you need that you can carry on your back to make sure that you make it home safely to your family so that you can protect them in an SHTF scenario. So a couple of other really exciting things we have going on right now. We have this rifle build that we're doing for the channel. This is going to be like a new style all-purpose rifle. So we have a 14.5-inch pin and weld. Look how clean I got that suppressor to mount on the front of that rail. I just love it, guys. It does all the right things for me. So I worked really hard on fitting this rail and making sure it worked. OD paint with all FDE furniture. I did the assaulting forward Texas flag color filled FDE on the Vortex mount, and of course FDE buttstock on this side. Now this might be something that some of you frown upon. I know my wife isn't a huge fan of this part of the gun, but I engraved the upper here to give myself a little bit of, you know, an incentive, a motive, if you will. If I have to be fighting in a bad situation, I'm definitely gonna, you know, be telling myself that right there. Also, a little throw in for PREPTEX, and this is gonna be our new all-purpose complete bug out rifle, and we're gonna do a whole video on this guy. So I'm pretty excited to tell you some of the things that we got coming. I know that the videos have been kind of spotty here and there. I have a whole lot going on, guys, right now, with a full-time job, a brand new baby, and still trying to bring content to you guys. Still having time to train, shoot, film, and build guns for the channel. So your support really matters to us. If you like this, if you like our content, guys, if you like what we do to the channel, this content costs us a lot of time from our families. It also costs us a lot of money in ammunition and gas, and also parts, building and buying gear for the channel. So your help is greatly appreciated to help us continue to put content out for you guys. We have a Patreon channel that you can join for the price of a cup of coffee every month. It really helps us out. We also have the join button down below that you can join straight through our YouTube channel and become part of the PREPTEX family and get special rewards and badges down there as well. Also, guys, sometimes the biggest help towards the channel is straight donations to our PayPal. If you want to help support the channel, you can see the links down below for our PayPal and help us out there so we can continue to grow and continue to make better and better content for you guys. Also, guys, you can help us out by supporting our sponsors like Liberty Shooting Sports. You can go to the links down below at libertyshooting.com to find all of your needs for gun parts, firearms, ammunition, or any kind of accessories that you need. They have some of the lowest prices on ammunition of anybody that I know of right now. And also, if you use the code PREPTEX1, then you can get an extra discount at checkout. Also, as always, guys, one of the biggest sponsors of our channel is Texas Shooter Supply. So get over to texasshootersupply.com right now and check out some of the wicked custom guns, AKs and ARs that Dimitri builds over there at Texas Shooter Supply. As always, guys, thanks for stopping by today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay training, stay prepping. This is PREPTEX signing off.